Excited MotoGP has always chased speed. But what happens when an engine becomes so extreme, it bends physics, shatters rivals, and forces the sport to rewrite its own rules? Curious. This is the story of how Honda built the most powerful engine MotoGP has ever seen, and why no one has truly caught up. Serious, imagine engines screaming at 13,000 revolutions per minute, pulling over 200 horsepower out of barely half a liter of pure two-stroke fury. Descriptive. For nearly 4 decades, MotoGP's top class ran on 500 cubic centimeters two-strokes. Machines like Honda's NSR 500 V4 and Yamaha's YZR 500 ruled circuits from Laguna Seca to Mugello. Firm. These bikes were not just fast, they were literally wild. Informative. Over 180 horsepower at the crank. Top speeds brushing 200 miles per hour. And power-to-weight ratios that make modern leader bikes feel calm by comparison. Riders like Mick Doohan and Wayne Rainey did not simply ride them, they survived them. Explaining, the two-stroke power band was narrow, violent, and unforgiving. One mistake with the throttle, 1 inch too much lean, and the bike punished you instantly. There was no safety net. There was only control, courage, and consequence. The golden era of pure, explosive racing. Curious. But in 2002, everything changed overnight. Manufacturers made a decision that shocked the paddock and nearly killed the sport. Professional. Basically, MotoGP was born. Informative. The 500 cubic centimeters two-strokes were wiped from the grid and replaced by 4-stroke engines up to 990 cubic centimeters. There was no transition period, no hybrid phase, and no easing into it. One season you were wrestling two-stroke monsters, the next you were strapped to full prototype V4s and inline 4s built from the ground up for a new era. Steady, while Honda's RC211V crossed 220 horsepower, almost immediately, Yamaha's YZR-M1 followed close behind. By 2006, the top engines were pushing near 240 horsepower, while spinning past 19,000 RPM. Amazed, the speed was breathtaking, but the price of that speed was terrifying. You're serious. These early 4-strokes ran around 50 degrees hotter than the old 2-strokes. Over long race distances, internal temperatures climbed into dangerous territory. The pistons expanded, valves glowed, and oil broke down. The entire engines were pushed to the edge of survival every single lap. Reflective. On the other hand, engineers fought constant battles with lean burn detonation, a condition where the fuel-air mixture ignites too early, hammering pistons with enormous pressure before they are ready to receive it. Riders began calling the new machines time bombs because they never knew which lap would be their last. Strong. The golden age of power had arrived, and it carried a very real risk of destroying the sport. Dramatic. So Dorna stepped in. In 2007, engine size was slashed to 800 cubic centimeters. Critics, fans, and teams panicked, screaming it would destroy racing. But why cripple the machines everyone loved? Confident. The answer was simple, but unavoidable. Descriptive. The sport needed safety, teams needed cost control, and MotoGP itself needed to survive. Reducing capacity to 800 cubic centimeters dropped peak output to roughly 230 horsepower. Yet something unexpected happened. Lap times barely changed. Explaining. The bikes were just as fast. The difference was that engineers were now forced to focus on electronics, tires, traction management, and rider control instead of chasing raw horsepower alone. Reflective. The problem was that with smaller engines, development costs kept exploding. Some manufacturers were burning through more than 300 million euros per year just to gain tiny advantages measured in hundredths of a second. Steady. By 2011, Dorna realized the experiment had reached its limit, so the rulebook shifted again, and from 2012 onward, MotoGP returned to 1,000 cubic centimeters engines, limited to 4 cylinders and an 81mm bore. Excited. The prototype era was back because power climbed toward 250 horsepower, and the stage was finally set for Honda's ultimate weapon. Excited, and that ultimate weapon arrived in full force. Informative. By 2013, the paddock already felt the shift. A rookie named Marquez stormed into MotoGP and won 6 races in his very first season. In 2014, he dismantled the field, collecting 13 victories from 18 races in one of the most dominant seasons the sport had ever seen. Bossy. Then came 2015, and Honda left nothing behind for anyone else. Applause. Across 2014 and 2015, the RC213V claimed 33 wins from 36 races. Repsol Honda locked both constructors' titles. Marquez secured back-to-back championships, while Dani Pedrosa finished second 3 seasons in a row. Pause, amazed. This wasn't a winning bike. This was domination. Around the paddock, the whispers started about the red machine and alien technology. Slightly chuckle. Even Valentino Rossi himself said the Honda didn't behave like a normal motorcycle. Also, Ducati's engineers openly admitted they could not understand what it was doing. No matter how hard they pushed, no one could touch the RC213V. Curious, everyone knew Honda was fast, even unstoppable. But no one, not rivals, not journalists, and not even the riders chasing it on track, truly knew why. What was Honda hiding inside that machine while everyone else kept breaking down? Professional. The truth lived deep inside Honda's HRC facility in Sakai, Japan. Informative. At the heart of the RC213V was a 90-degree V4 engine spinning to an astonishing 19,200 revolutions per minute and producing roughly 265 horsepower, the most powerful engine MotoGP had ever seen at the time. Explaining. The enormous throttle bodies fed massive volumes of air, and pneumatic valves replaced conventional springs, allowing the engine to rev far beyond mechanical limits, and huge 50mm intake trumpets inhaled air with the violence of a jet turbine. Steady. Every component was engineered to survive extreme stress. They added titanium connecting rods, exotic alloys, and ultra-tight tolerances. This engine was not simply fast, it was a controlled explosion contained inside aluminum and carbon fiber. Dramatic. But raw power alone does not win races by half a minute. So how did Honda turn that power into something no other bike on the grid could fight? Confident. Well, the real weapon was the gearbox. Intense. While every rival used traditional dog box transmissions that briefly cut power during each shift, Honda built something radical, a true seamless gearbox. Informative. On the RC213V, there was no interruption in drive, no dip in torque, and not even hesitation. Electro-hydraulic actuators forced gears together in just 2 milliseconds, faster than the human nervous system could even register. Pause. At 19,000 revolutions per minute, the engine never stopped pulling. Not once. Corner after corner, the power flowed continuously. This unlocked Marquez to brake impossibly late, knowing that full drive would hit the rear tire the instant he picked the bike up on exit. Rossi's Yamaha could only manage clutchless downshifts, but Honda's RC213V did both directions flawlessly. Honest. To be honest, years of development made it possible. When Ducati tried copying the system in 2014, their gears destroyed themselves, and Yamaha never even attempted it. Steady Honda did not merely build the strongest engine in MotoGP, they built the only transmission on Earth that could survive delivering it. Pause. Lap records collapsed at Phillip Island, Mugello, literally everywhere. And just when rivals thought they finally understood Honda's secret, they discovered the full depth of what Honda had really created. Serious. But now let's talk about why the RC213V became the most feared machine in modern MotoGP. Intrigued, because the truth is, this bike was not just winning races, it was bending the limits of what a racing engine was even supposed to survive. Informative, at its core was a 999 cubic centimeters, 90-degree V4 engine screaming to a 19,200 revolutions per minute redline. It breathed through pneumatic valves that completely abandoned traditional valve springs. Instead, pressurized gas held the titanium valves in place, allowing the engine to survive more than 150 atmospheres of combustion pressure. Reflective. This allowed the engine to rev higher, faster, and for longer than anything its rivals could safely manage. Also feeding that beast were massive 54mm throttle bodies, 2 millimeters larger than most competitors. They pulled more than 1,200 liters of air per minute. Explaining, then at nearly 350 kilometers per hour, ram air intakes forced even more oxygen into the cylinders, driving combustion density through the roof. At peak output, the RC213V delivered roughly 265 horsepower at 18,500 RPM, making it the most violent engine MotoGP had ever created. Shocking. And the dyno charts revealed something critical: a massive flat torque curve stretching from 14,000 revolutions per minute all the way to redline, giving riders relentless drive long after others ran out of breath. Curious, but raw power alone does not sweep championships. Yamaha built 255 horsepower and Ducati touched 260. So what transformed Honda's numbers into untouchable lap times? Professional. It was not just the engine, but how that power reached the ground, because Honda's seamless gearbox changed everything. Reflective. While rival bikes lost drive up to 18 times per lap through conventional dogbox shifts, Honda's electro-hydraulic system executed each shift in just 2 milliseconds, without cutting power for even a heartbeat. Firm, the full 265 horsepower flowed continuously through every gear change. That allowed Marquez to brake nearly 10 meters later at tracks like Mugello. Commit to core. Firm, the full 265 horsepower flowed continuously through every gear change. That allowed Marquez to brake nearly 10 meters later at tracks like Mugello, commit to corner entry with absolute confidence, and unleash immediate throttle on exit. Not impressed. Meanwhile, Rossi hesitated, and Ducati's Andrea Iannone fought wheel spin from delayed delivery, turning Honda's transmission into a true weapon rather than just a component. Dramatic. However, it wasn't over. Of course, power and delivery sound unstoppable, but engines explode when pushed that hard. So how did Honda keep this monster alive lap after lap? Confident. The hidden genius was heat management, because the RC213V consistently ran nearly 50 degrees cooler than the rest of the grid. Precision oil jets sprayed the pistons mid-stroke with 200-degree lubricant, while dual oil pumps worked together to keep both pressure and temperature stable even under full race load. Reflective. At the same time, full titanium exhaust headers removed 4 kilograms from the system and shed heat 30% faster than steel. Diamond-coated combustion chambers resisted detonation even at a brutal 14-to-1 compression ratio, allowing the engine to survive conditions that would normally destroy a race motor. Impressed. Then HRC engineers pushed the system to its limits through 72-hour torture tests on the Misano dyno. And while other engines failed under similar stress, the RC213V simply kept running, cold, stable, and lethal. Excited. This was mechanical alchemy, not normal engineering. Excited. But there's something even more crazy than the raw power. And when I say this, I mean the secret only gets crazier from here. Because once you truly understand how this machine actually dominated, the numbers stop looking impressive and start looking terrifying. Informative Marc Marquez's rookie season in 2013 delivered 6 victories, and that alone would have been historic. But what followed transformed the record books entirely. Twisty. In 2014, he won the championship with 13 wins from 18 races. Then in 2015, he added 6 more, stacking 42 victories between 2013 and 2016 in a run of dominance the sport had never witnessed before. Steady. Alongside this, Dani Pedrosa quietly built one of the most consistent campaigns in modern MotoGP, locking in 3 straight runner-up finishes and 16 podiums from 2013 to 2015, while Repsol Honda did not simply win races, but crushed entire seasons before summer even arrived. Pause. Valentino Rossi managed only 2 wins in 2014, Ducati captured no titles at all, lap records evaporated, pole positions became routine, and Constructors' Championships were wrapped up before mid-season. The paddock stopped calling it a team and started calling it the Marquez machine. Curious. Now riders win races. But this domination felt different, almost mechanical, almost inhuman. So what turned 2 Spanish riders into an unstoppable force while legends crumbled around them? Professional. It was all because of the perfect synergy between human and machine. Explaining. Since Marquez's alien braking style, diving 10 meters deeper than Rossi into Turn 1 at Mugello, matched the RC213V's titanium brake stability as if both were built from the same blueprint, and Pedrosa's surgical throttle control unlocked the seamless gearbox's instant response with millimeter-perfect precision. Informative. Inside Honda's Sakai data center, engineers processed more than 500 gigabytes of telemetry every test day, blending Marquez's violent elbow-dragging data with Pedrosa's smoother inputs to create rider-specific, track-specific, and even corner-specific configurations that transformed the motorcycle overnight. Dramatic, but the real secret weapon, the one that broke spirits across the paddock, was not hardware at all. Pause. It was Honda's magic mapping electronics. Serious. Where others tuned throttle-by-wire and straight lines, Honda's ECU layered 6 maps at once, like base fueling, traction control, wheelie suppression, launch control, anti-wheel spin, and engine braking modulation, all adapting in real time. The sensors monitored tire slip 1,000 times per second, rewriting power delivery mid-corner. At turn 12 in Jerez, the system detected early wheel spin by 0.02 seconds and cut torque by 3% instantly. Informative. Rossi locked the rear and lost 4/10. The RC213V didn't. The seamless gearbox fed perfect data into the magic mapping, and the full 265 horsepower arrived exactly where and when it was needed, every single lap. Amazed then, HRC Vice President Shuhei Nakamoto said it best. "We don't make power, we make usable power." From lights out to the checkered flag, the RC213V remained surgical, and lap 18 of 27 was still perfect. By Aragon 2015, Marquez sealed his 3rd world title. Pedrosa stayed glued to the podium, and the RC213V redefined what unbeatable meant. Serious. Until the rest of the paddock finally realized what they were really fighting. Yamaha spied on it, Ducati dissected it, and everyone chased the RC213V. But copying parts only revealed how deeply they misunderstood the machine. Informative. Yamaha's YZRM1 adopted massive 52mm throttle bodies in 2015 and still overheated, while Ducati's Decimosedici GP14 chased 260 horsepower only for its gearbox to grenade mid-race at Assen. Pause. They kept copying components, but they never understood the ecosystem. The Honda V4 did not exist alone. The seamless gearbox sent over 500 data points per second into the ECU. Magic mapping adjusted fuel delivery mid-lap, oil jets altered pressure as tires degraded, and titanium exhaust dumped heat 30% faster than steel. Sudden change. Copy one component and the system collapsed. The RC213V was an orchestra. Everyone else brought a soloist. Curious. The seamless gearbox grabbed headlines, but it was only the opening act. HRC was hiding something deeper. What truly made 265 horsepower usable on every track, in every corner? Professional. It's all about Honda's magic mapping, 6 adaptive layers running simultaneously, base power, traction control, wheelie mitigation, anti-wheel spin, engine braking, and corner exit boost, all constantly reshaping the engine's behavior. Informative. At Mugello's turn 10, the system detected 0.01 seconds of slip and cut torque by 4% while feeding power into wheelie control. Late in the Qatar race, when tire temperatures dropped 2 degrees, The mapping added 1% throttle bias automatically. Reflective. Where others fought their machines, Honda's riders were supported by them. In the HRC's Sakai data center, simulations ran day and night. Marquez's Mugello data reshaped Pedrosa's Valencia map overnight. Dramatic, but by 2017, it vanished. The unbeatable RC213V specification disappeared overnight. Titles slipped, Yamaha surged. Pause. Why would Honda kill its own golden goose? Firm. This is where things get different. Confident. Dorna banned seamless gearboxes in 2016 under the banner of cost control, after the development gap between Honda and smaller teams ballooned to 10 million euros. Explaining. The paddock celebrated, Honda had dominated too long, and HRC did not protest, they just adapted. The ECU was rebuilt for dogbox brutality. Magic mapping evolved to predict gear clashes before they happened. Marquez still won Valencia 2016. Pedrosa stayed glued to the podium. Power fell to 250 horsepower, and the RC213V remained untouchable. Excited, its legacy exploded beyond MotoGP. The RC213V gave birth to the CBR 1000R RR, bringing pneumatic valve logic, ride-by-wire mapping, titanium exhausts, and race-grade cooling to the street. The production superbikes now exceed 215 horsepower because Honda proved leader machines can survive at 19,000 RPM. Slightly nodding, agreeing. Still, we can say Yamaha's R1M chased and Ducati's Panigale 5 4R followed. Everyone is still trying to catch up, but the most powerful MotoGP engine rewrote engineering textbooks, and now it can't be erased. Reflective. So if one engine could push MotoGP this far, what other technologies do you think were simply too powerful for the sport to handle? Should machines like this be protected or restrained? Curious. Tell us in the comments, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to watch our video on the explosive truth behind Honda's betrayal of Valentino Rossi.